My fiancé said, "Stop introducing me as your future husband. It makes me look like I settled." I replied, "Good to know." That evening, I quietly removed my name from every guest list he had added me to. 2 days later, he walked into a brunch with his friends, and the moment he saw what was placed at his seat, he forgot how to breathe. I'm Ashley, 33, and 3 days ago, my fiancé told me that being engaged to me made him look like he'd settled for less. By the time he sat down at brunch with his friends and saw the envelope I'd arranged to have delivered, he realized that I'd decided not to be anyone's consolation prize anymore. I'd been with Andrew for almost 3 years, engaged for 5 months. We met at a work conference when I was 30 and he was 31. He worked in corporate law. I'm in finance. We hit it off immediately. Same sense of humor, similar backgrounds. Both wanted marriage and kids. Eventually, the relationship progressed naturally. We moved in together after a year. We got engaged last spring, set a wedding date for next October. But about 2 months ago, something shifted. Andrew started making comments about my career, my social circle, my potential. Nothing overtly cruel, just these little digs that added up. "You're comfortable where you are, aren't you? Don't you want to aim higher? My friends' partners are all directors or VPs by now. I make good money, not executive level, but solid 6 figures. I'm happy with my work-life balance." I thought Andrew was too. Apparently not. 3 weeks ago, we went to his friend Vanessa's engagement party. Big event, lots of Andrew's social circle there. When we walked in, I introduced us to some people Andrew wanted to network with. "Hi, I'm Ashley, and this is my fiancé, Andrew." Later that night in the car, he brought it up. "Can you not do that?" "Do what?" "Introduce me as your fiancé." It's just weird." "Weird how? We are engaged." "I know, but you don't need to announce it like that. It makes me feel like you're, I don't know, claiming ownership or something." I let it go. Figured he was tired, the party had been long, whatever. But then, 2 nights ago, we were at a dinner with some of his colleagues. Old law school friends, people he'd known for years. When someone asked how we knew each other, I said, "Andrew is my future husband. We're getting married next October." The table went quiet for a second. Then conversation resumed, but Andrew's face had gone tight. On the drive home, he exploded. "I asked you not to introduce me like that." "Like what?" "As my future husband." "That's literally what you are. It makes me look like I settled." I felt like I'd been punched. "You think marrying me makes you look like you settled?" "That's not what I meant." "That's exactly what you meant. You just said introducing you as my future husband makes you look like you settled. How else am I supposed to interpret that?" "You're twisting my words. I'm just saying you don't need to be so public about it. My friends are all marrying doctors, executives, entrepreneurs, and you're fine. You're good at what you do, but you're not ambitious like them. When you announce me as your fiancé, it highlights that." "Highlights what?" "That you're marrying someone you consider beneath you." "I didn't say beneath me. You said I make you look like you settled. Same thing." He went quiet, didn't apologize, didn't take it back, just said he was tired and went to bed. I sat in the living room for probably 2 hours thinking. Then I made some decisions. First, I pulled up every event Andrew had RSVP'd us for over the next few months. His friend's wedding shower, a law firm gala, his college roommate's birthday party, several brunches and dinners. For all of them, he had added me as his +1 without asking. Just assumed I'd come along as his accessory. His partner, he was apparently embarrassed to claim. I went through each event and removed myself from the guest lists, sent polite emails to hosts saying I wouldn't be able to attend, apologizing for the late notice. Some of them were Andrew's close friends who had my email from previous events. I kept the messages brief and professional. Then I did something else. I contacted Andrew's best friend, Melissa. We'd always gotten along well. I asked if she'd be willing to help me with something at this weekend's brunch, a group thing Andrew had planned with his inner circle. Melissa was hesitant until I explained what Andrew had said. Then she agreed immediately. The next morning, Friday, Andrew acted like nothing had happened. He was getting ready for work, talking about wedding planning, asking if I'd confirmed our RSVP for his friend Sarah's wedding shower that weekend. "About that," I said. "I canceled my RSVP." "What? Why?" "Because you're embarrassed to introduce me as your fiancé. So I figured you'd rather go to these events solo. Avoid the whole settled thing." "Oh, don't be ridiculous." "I'm not being ridiculous. I'm respecting your wishes. You don't want people knowing you're marrying me because it makes you look bad. So go to your events alone." Problem solved. You're being childish. I'm being clear. You said what you said. I heard you. Now I'm acting accordingly. He stared at me. So you're just not coming to Sarah's shower or any of the other events you signed us up for? I went through the list last night, removed myself from everything. You can't just... I can, and I did. If you're embarrassed to be engaged to me, don't bring me. Simple. I left for work. He texted me throughout the day, first angry, then defensive, then trying to backtrack. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. You're overreacting. Can we please just talk about this? I responded once. I heard exactly what you meant. Enjoy your brunch Sunday. Update 1. Saturday. Andrew tried a different approach. He was apologetic. Said he'd been stressed about work and hadn't meant to hurt me. Said obviously he was proud to be marrying me, that I was misunderstanding his concerns. So you're not embarrassed to introduce me as your future wife? I asked. No, of course not. Then why did you say it makes you look like you settled? He couldn't answer that. Just kept saying I was taking it out of context, that he'd phrased it badly. The context was pretty clear, I said. You think I'm not impressive enough for your social circle. You think being engaged to me reflects poorly on you. That's not phrasing. That's how you actually feel. Ashley, please. Are you going to the brunch tomorrow? Yes, but I want you to come. Please. Let's just show up together and move past this. I'm not going. You'll have to explain to your friends why I'm not there. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. That you're embarrassed to be engaged to someone who makes you look like you settled. He didn't like that. We spent Saturday mostly in separate rooms. That evening, he asked one more time if I'd reconsider coming to the brunch. I said no. He went to bed frustrated. What Andrew didn't know was that I'd already coordinated with Melissa. The brunch was at a nice restaurant, one of those trendy, bottomless mimosa places his friend group loved. Melissa had arranged with the restaurant to have something delivered to Andrew's seat before everyone arrived, an envelope with his name on it. Inside the envelope was a letter I'd written and a copy of our wedding venue cancellation confirmation. Sunday morning, Andrew got ready for brunch and asked me one last time if I was coming. I said no. He left around 10:30 a.m. I stayed at the apartment. Around 11:15 a.m., my phone started ringing. Andrew. I didn't answer. He called 3 more times. Then Melissa texted me. He opened it. You should have seen his face. 15 minutes later, Andrew came home. He burst through the door, envelope in hand. What the hell is this? He demanded. It's exactly what it says. Cancellation confirmation for our wedding venue. You canceled our venue without talking to me? You told me marrying you makes you look like you settled. I decided to solve that problem. No wedding, no settling. Ashley, you can't just cancel our wedding. I didn't cancel the wedding. I canceled the venue. But yes, I'm canceling the wedding too. As of right now, we're not engaged anymore. He just stared at me. You're breaking up with me because of one comment. It wasn't one comment, it was a pattern. Months of you making me feel like I'm not enough. Like you're embarrassed of me. Like you're only with me because you couldn't find someone better. I'm done being someone's backup plan. You're not my backup plan. Then why did you say introducing you as my future wife makes you look like you settled? Why have you been comparing me to your friends' partners? Why do you care so much about how I make you look to other people? He couldn't answer, just stood there holding the letter and the cancellation notice. The letter explains everything, I said. How you've made me feel for months. How I'm tired of being treated like a disappointing choice. How I deserve someone who's proud to be with me, not embarrassed. Oh, Ashley, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. You didn't realize because you weren't thinking about me at all. You were thinking about your image, about what your friends would think, about whether I was impressive enough for your social circle. That's not love, that's social climbing. That's not fair. What's not fair is spending 3 years with someone, agreeing to marry them, then telling them they make you look bad. That's what's not fair. Update 2. Andrew didn't leave. He spent the rest of Sunday trying to convince me I was overreacting, that I was throwing away 3 years over a misunderstanding, that if I just gave him a chance to prove he didn't really feel that way, we could work through this. How are you going to prove it? I asked. By introducing you to my friends. You already had that chance, multiple chances, and you made it clear you didn't want to. I'll do it now. I'll call everyone from brunch, tell them you're my fiancé. Don't bother. Melissa already told them after you left the brunch in a panic. She explained to everyone what you'd said to me, about settling, about being embarrassed. Your friends know exactly why I ended things. His face went white. Melissa told them? I asked her to. You wanted to keep me hidden, make me your secret shame. I wanted your friends to know the truth about why the wedding's off. You humiliated me in front of my entire social circle. You humiliated me for months, called me unambitious, said I made you look bad, compared me to other people's partners. I just made sure your friends knew the real reason we're done. He tried for another hour to change my mind. Cried, apologized, said he'd do anything. But I was done. I told him to pack a bag and stay somewhere else for a few days while we figured out living arrangements. He eventually left around 6 p.m., went to stay with his sister. Monday morning, I contacted a lawyer about untangling our finances. We'd combined some accounts, co-signed on the apartment lease. It was going to be messy, but necessary. Monday afternoon, Andrew's mother called me. "Oh, honey, what's going on? Andrew called us crying, saying you ended the engagement." I did. Did he tell you why? He said you overreacted to something he said, that you're being unreasonable. He told me that being engaged to me makes him look like he's settled, that introducing him as my future husband embarrasses him because I'm not impressive enough for his friends. Those are his words. Silence. Then, he said that to you multiple times in different ways for months? Yes. Oh, Ashley, I'm so sorry. That's not okay. That's not how you treat someone you love. That's what I figured. Do you think there's any chance you two can work through this? No, I spent months feeling like I wasn't enough, like I was some disappointment he was stuck with. I'm not going back to that. I understand. I'm sorry it ended this way. You've always been good to our family. We talked for a few more minutes. She said she'd talk to Andrew, try to make him understand what he'd done. I appreciated it, but didn't expect it to change anything. Update 3. It's been 3 weeks since the brunch. Andrew and I are in the process of separating everything. He found a new apartment and moves in next month. I'm keeping our current place since the lease is primarily in my name and I can afford it solo. He's tried multiple times to reconcile, sent long texts about how he's realized he was wrong, that he took me for granted, that he's been in therapy working on his issues with image and validation. I've responded politely but firmly. It's over. There's no going back. Please respect my decision. His friends have been divided. Some think I overreacted, that I should have given him another chance. Others, including Melissa, have sided with me. Melissa told me that after I left the brunch and she explained everything, several of Andrew's friends admitted they'd noticed him being dismissive of me, that he'd made comments before about me not being at their level. Apparently, it wasn't just in my head. The wedding venue refunded about 60% of our deposit. We lost some money, but honestly, worth it to avoid marrying someone who saw me as a disappointing choice. Andrew sent me a letter last week, long, handwritten, about how he knows he messed up, how he's sorry he made me feel inadequate, how he wishes he could take it back. The letter ended with, "I wasn't embarrassed of you. I was insecure about myself. I thought if you were more impressive, it would make me feel better about my own choices. I projected my issues onto you, and I'm sorry." I read it twice, then I put it in a drawer. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he really is working on himself. But that doesn't change what he said. Doesn't change months of feeling like I wasn't enough. Final update. It's been 4 months since I ended the engagement. Andrew moved out completely about 6 weeks ago. We've had minimal contact since. Just logistics about splitting shared items and closing joint accounts. Everything's finalized now. We're completely separate. I heard through Melissa that Andrew's been struggling. Lost some friends who sided with me or just got tired of the drama. His family's disappointed in how he handled things. He's still in therapy, apparently. I ran into him once about 3 weeks ago at a coffee shop near our old apartment. He was with someone. I don't know if it was a date or just a friend. He saw me and his face went pale. I gave him a polite nod and kept walking. He texted me later that day. "It was good to see you. You looked happy. I'm glad." I didn't respond. My life's gotten significantly better since the split. I've reconnected with friends I'd neglected. Started rock climbing, something I'd always wanted to try. Been dating casually. Nothing serious yet. I'm learning what I actually want from a partner instead of trying to be what someone else wants. The biggest change is internal. I don't second-guess myself anymore. Don't wonder if I'm ambitious enough or impressive enough. I'm comfortable with who I am. If that's not enough for someone, they're not right for me. My sister asked me last week if I ever think about reaching out to Andrew, seeing how he's doing, maybe getting closure. My answer was no. We had closure at that brunch. He sat down and opened an envelope that told him exactly why I was done. That's all the closure either of us needed. Melissa and I still talk occasionally. She told me Andrew asked about me recently, wanted to know if I was seeing anyone. Melissa shut that down immediately. "That's not your business anymore," she told him. "You had someone good, and you made her feel like she wasn't enough. Let her move on." I appreciated that. The thing I keep coming back to is this. Andrew didn't just make one comment about settling. He revealed a pattern of thinking that had been there all along. The comments about my career, my ambition, my potential, they were all part of the same issue. He'd built this image in his head of what his life should look like, and I didn't fit that image. Instead of recognizing that the image was the problem, he tried to change me or hide me. I'm glad I found out before the wedding, before we had kids, before I spent years trying to live up to standards I was never going to meet because they were arbitrary and constantly shifting. Some people think I was too harsh, that canceling the venue and having the letter delivered at brunch was unnecessary drama, but I disagree. Andrew needed to understand that actions have consequences, that you can't treat people like disappointing accessories and expect them to stick around. The letter at brunch made sure he and his friends understood exactly why I was walking away. Would I do it differently if I could go back? Maybe I would have had a longer conversation before canceling the venue. Maybe I would have given him one more chance to apologize meaningfully. But probably not. He'd had months to apologize, months to recognize he was hurting me, months to change his behavior. He didn't. He only cared when I took action. I'm Ashley, 33, single, living in an apartment that's all mine. Learning that being alone is infinitely better than being with someone who makes you feel small. Andrew thought I wasn't impressive enough for his friends. Turns out he wasn't impressive enough as a partner. That's all there is to it. Edit 1. People keep asking what the letter said exactly. I kept it simple. Explained how his comments had made me feel over the past months. Listed specific things he'd said, including the settled comment, and stated clearly that I was ending the engagement because I deserve someone who's proud to be with me. I attached the venue cancellation as proof I was serious. Edit 2. Yes, I did lose money canceling the venue and other wedding arrangements, worth every penny. I would have lost a lot more divorcing someone who fundamentally didn't respect me. Edit 3. Andrew's friends from the brunch have reached out a few times, some apologizing for not noticing how he treated me. Others asking if I'm really done, or if there's a chance we'll reconcile. I've been clear with everyone. It's over. No reconciliation, no second chances. He showed me who he was, and I finally believed him.